So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You'd better believe that's the truth. Huh. And I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is one powerful cup of coffee. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tiger. Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court, witness? You never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Alright, next cross-examination. And I assume that we're gonna have to go through the same spiel. We're gonna have to press the right statement, otherwise we're gonna get a penalty. Huh. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Oak. There was some lame guy with that name though, who wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with a guy at my office, $10 letter. I waited around for him. He ain't ever showed up. I ain't never ever been to the Trebian joint. He's here. I see. That all seems perfectly logical. Yeah, I mean, we have all that written on the calendar, but it doesn't say the location of the meeting and all that. Okay. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep up appointments when you're dead. Yeah, truly. You know what they say, you die when you're killed. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, right? You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm gonna reach Gumshoe's financial status at this point. Alright. So I guess the same rule applies. I'm gonna have to press the right statement, right? Okay. Like, it's not necessarily a contradiction that I'm looking for, or maybe there is a contradiction here, like, straight in my face. That, or I have to find something of interest for me. I mean, I don't see... Well, there is a clear contradiction over here, but it's not clear-cut. If I'm to press it. He's definitely gonna have to add some arguments, or... Once we press this... We're gonna talk about some other stuff, and we're gonna have to... bring in some evidence. But, okay, let's, Well, okay, well, let's ask about Trebian. Did you truly not go to Trebian? Never. Not even once. Not even once. I was in my office the day that went down. I didn't put no poison in no kid's coffee. Capiche?
Do you think you really didn't meet Glen Oak?
Not like. Because I'm convinced this guy is behind the whole thing.
So you mean, that whole testimony you just gave was a lie?
Of course. So we cannot afford to give him time to think of ways to plug the leaks in it. I got to nail him while I still can. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. I think I know what my tactic is gonna be. We have to prove that... Okay, he was at Très Bien. Do we have evidence of that? I think there was, if I remember correctly. I think that there is something over here that will prove that he had something to do with Très Bien. Yeah, like right over here. Jean's well, okay, this could be the right evidence over here that we can pull. That, well, Jean definitely has something to do with Furio Tigre. But it doesn't necessarily say that Furio Tigre went to the restaurant, but the other way around. That Jean Armstrong went to Tenderlander to ask about some stuff. But, you know what, I think that this is it. Yana, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. He clearly, contradicts the, well, I mean, I thought, you don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection denied. Damn it. I don't think that won me any points with a judge. Okay. If it's not that, like, okay. It is as I said. It doesn't necessarily say that Furio Tigre was at Très Bien. Only that he knows Jean Armstrong through Tenderlander. He probably went to Tenderlander. That's what he would say. So it's not really a strong evidence that proves it. Was there anything else that connects him to Très Bien? The poison only bears Maggie's fingerprints. Like, we did have the bottle of medicine. That would definitely prove that Furio Tigre was at the Très Bien, but it's now a gumshoe to be analyzed. Or, hold on a second. Très Bien matches. Matches used for advertising. Found lying in Tenderlander. Yeah, this could actually be it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such matches on him to begin with. Mr. Tiger, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What are you talking about?
We found them in your office at Tenderland. They're from that restaurant. If you've really never been to Très Bien before, what was the book of the restaurant matches doing on your desk?
Just this snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy? Uh-oh. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me.
Order! Order! Well, witness. I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid.
Well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, we established that Furio Tigre had a meeting with Glenelg. We established that Furio Tigre was at the restaurant. What more proof do we want? I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glenelg that day. And he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. Okay. Next cross-examination. At Très Bien.
I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, he was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cough sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
Oh, I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Yeah, I guess so. So what he's telling us is that he went to Trebian, he looked for a couple of seconds and then went away. Well, Miss Wright, so cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it! If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions.
No problem. I'm starting to like this guy. Anytime Tri presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. But, Mr. Gato, well, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it! Yes, sir. Sheesh. He sounded like Manfred there for a second.
The special express ain't cheap, right? Just so you knows it's you's paying.
Oh man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? That was a rhetorical question. Alright, well, which statement are we gonna press here? You heard the cop's sirens on your way out. Went straight back to your office. Okay. I mean, none of these, like, all these statements are similar in vein. There isn't really anything that seems important to question. Actually, we could ask this. What exactly did you see? Can you tell us in detail? An ugly scene? What do you mean?
Objection!
The witness has already told us, right? Which makes that question irrelevant. Uh-oh. But... I'll limit myself to 17 cups of coffee during the trial. That's the rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, right? Or your guts will look like the inside of a chimney. Ashen! Don't make me burn you again, Mr. Wright. Ugh. I guess I shouldn't have pressed him on that. Okay, well, in which case, we're definitely gonna have to look at the evidence.
Guess I'm gonna make that special express after all.
So, to recap, this ugly scene you saw was... Okay, well, in which case... we're gonna have to see about some evidence right over here. Actually, let me see. When you only opened the door, you saw it. Okay, so in which case, well, I'm definitely gonna have to think about some evidence over here, because I'm not seeing anything under these statements. Like, I'm not seeing anything important in these statements that could be of interest, that could be worth pursuing. Wait a minute! The entrance is right over here, and the victim was right over here. You only said that you entered the Très Bien, right? And there's a partition over here. That could actually be one thing that we can pursue. Anything else? Potassium. Photo of the cinema from near the kitchen. Yeah, there is a clear partition over here. Let me actually see something over here. If Glen Elk was, for example, down here, like in the lower level of the restaurant, the tables over here, he could have seen from that angle. But from here, however, he couldn't have. That could actually be it. Other than that... Made of cardboard and painted to look authentic. Can't believe that he stole that from me. How the fuck did he manage to do that? Nah, you know what? This has to be it. Like, we're definitely gonna have to ask him about how he managed to see Glen Elk and that ugly scene. If he was only at the entrance of the restaurant, he opened the door to the joint and he saw one ugly scene. I think that you're lying over here, Furio Tigre. You're something of a lung collecting pro, aren't ya, Mr. Tigre?
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. Yep, some would call Nick the Rising Phoenix. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, right? A new line of irrelevant questioning. No, I think that there's something relevant over here. More specifically in these floor plans. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, you feel the vision would have covered an area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the vacant seat.
Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. But why, that's true. Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field vision of any customer walking in ends here. So, from the entrance of Très Bien, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him!
Objection!
Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
Objection!
But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glen Elk, but a fake. Yeah, I mean, did you forget about our theory from before? Kudo came after 2 PM. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out the charade. That will do. This show has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? Say the killer murdered Glen Elk, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Mr. Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. I guess so. I guess it's time for us to make our Danganronpa-style decision over here of choosing our killer, which is Furio Tigre. Obviously. The killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness.
God. No, that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you just don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on. You got the guts.
You can't frighten me, Mr. Tigre. Is the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, sure. Pinning the attack on Nick, aren't you? Nick? Mr. Wright?
Sounds to me like it must be you. You just got guts. I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright, leave me to handle this alone? Huh. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kato, please. Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no. The serving girl brought him a jalapeno, and she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, he was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. Very impressive, Mr. Gato. I'm waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Huh. Like, what were you doing, Nick? If you weren't afraid of Furio Tigre, what were you doing under the desk? Were you preparing your attack there? Found your pen at last, right? It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elk, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. Oh, yes, indeedy. If this Glen Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? This is gonna end up being ugly. For Viola, that is. The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Yeah, if we were to go with the theory that we discussed before, that first Glen Elk truly died and Maggie fainted, and afterwards the scene was recreated with Kudo as the witness, then it couldn't have been Maggie that was there, because she fainted. Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? Alright, well, once again, we're gonna have to choose our person over here. And that supposed waitress is Viola Cadaverini. Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tenderlander.
He's making a big mistake. Do you know who Viola's grandfather is?
Yeah. Well, you surely do know.
You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick. Come on. It's making your sweat go all over the place.
Where was I? Yes. The defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following.
Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true that there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. And she had a kind of cackling laugh.
There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim table, who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when the eardrum was ruptured. and the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice. Once for real and once for a show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed a crime, is you. Witness, what have you got to say? Before I purposely drop the pen and grab it under the desk once again.
That's cute.
Sorry?
It's alright. I could go with a guy like you around.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go.
Yeah? Something to think about?
He's got it all wrapped up nice, alright. We just missed out on one real important thing.
What could that truly be? But that can be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too.
Yeah?
But I couldn't have poisoned him. He's here.
What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Trebian between yourself and the victim? Alright.
Yeah, I loaned out cash. About $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flank the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won! $500,000! He got lucky, though. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over.
Now, I see the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elk was $50,000.
Yeah, well, he's got the Vic to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, he ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? I was thinking that the motive could be that Glenn Elk stepped back from it, given that he won that lottery. In which case, he wouldn't want to have anything to do with Tender Lender after that. But proof, however, again, eh? It is something that we're definitely gonna have to find out in this cross-examination. Which, again, I'm gonna have to be very, very careful here with this new penalty system. I'm gonna have to see about which statement to press. See what is of most interest to me. That or find some evidence. I mean, once again, we can talk about the waitress and, you know, discuss the waitress's motive for doing the deed in the first place. Like, if it was Maggie Bird, then why would she do that if she knew nothing about the victim? Or, I mean, maybe we can find something out of this that could lead us to Viola being in cahoots with Furio Tigre here. The waitress, you mean?
The girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten away, things would have been bad. Things would have been bada bing bada boom, over and done with.
Maybe I should push a little of this. I mean, ask how things would have been? I am curious about this. What does this mean exactly? Like, what would he have done? What do you mean things would have been over and done with?
Are you all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my 100,000 bucks back. That's all. I am a businessman.
Okay. Were you afraid that you wouldn't get your money back if things went wrong for you, Tigre?
It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way.
As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Yeah, I wondered about that. Witness, you'll amend your testimony to reflect what you just said. The tiger's motive, huh?
I was after the $100,000. I didn't have no other reason to kill the guy.
Actually, no. You're trying to confuse us here, Furio Tigre. You almost caught me, cause I almost forgot about this one little detail over here that we haven't discussed that much. It is the computer virus, potentially worth millions of dollars, made by Glen Elk. There is a reason why Glen Elk had this on him when he died. Maybe because he wanted to give this to you. It wasn't the money that you were after, Furio Tigre. It was the CD! The MC Bomber CD!
Objection!
So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elk owed you, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elk, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after. Yeah, you were after something much bigger than that. Lots more money. Cha-ching!
Objection!
What are you getting at, Trite?
What else would a moneylender be after other than money? Oh, the moneylender was after money. But money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What is that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the inside of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I mean, I get it, you're an old man, Judge, but still, you'd never heard of a computer before? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is an important point. Yeah, we're gonna have like an extra session with the judge after the trial is over, where we have to explain him this stuff. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market.
Several $1 million?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing prepayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glen Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial. Yeah, cause let's not forget about this detail as well. He wasn't the richest person ever at his company. He wasn't getting that much money. I mean, case in point, we have the betting tickets and the fact that he was going for the lottery in the first place. What? Glen Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money.
Objection!
You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get hold of that program?
Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, right? A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. I mean, I do have to agree, he is a challenge, he is no idiot, but something tells me that he is having some money problems too. Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. Since you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright, would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million?
Well,
It could very well be because of one very important person. Bruno Cadavarini, the head of the Cadavarini family crime syndicate. He seems to live for his granddaughter. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's also like evidence that we got recently, which is Viola's medical papers. A $1 million bill for cranial surgery. Payment was due last year. Yeah, this does seem like a much more conclusive evidence to what we're talking about, so... Yep, here it is, Judge. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young man was injured. She was taken to the hospital, where she underwent surgery.
How much do you know?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. And yet, when the payment was due last month, he somehow managed to pay it in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue those HMOs.
Ha. No one will pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay. And yeah, there is a reason why that sum is huge. Because his very life depended on it.
Order! 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 You say his life depended on him, Mr. Wright?
Indeed it did. Simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadavarini.
Did you say Cadavarini?
Yeah. Since that you've heard of that name, Gado. Bruno Cadavarini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadavarini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Bruno Cadavarini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elk's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elk had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened. But he can't. And neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Ugg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. Yeah. At that point, the Glenelg would have backed up. He wouldn't have needed to make that transaction. He would have left with the lottery ticket and the CD to sell it himself, probably. At least, not a legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy! He murdered Glenelg, and then made his next move. To frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glenelg, while Viola Caravarini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing, in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Objection!
Like I said, Wright, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that.
Gato, you are not new to Japanifornia. This sort of stuff happens like daily.
For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it.
Objection!
But Mr. Armstrong was in on from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Gato? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. Yeah. He was forced to pay that money. And it's because of the power that Furio Tigre had that he could use John Armstrong for his murder. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan.
Order! Order!
Silence, or I'll
Yes, put on a good show, Spiky.
Eh? Okay, seriously, what is it now? I mean, we talked about every single angle of this case. What more do you want from us?
If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You're saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that.
I agree.
You do?
You do?
Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
What? Another one, Mr. Wright?
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Wright? What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? Oh yeah, okay, now I remember what it was. It was that Furio Tigre disguised himself as Phoenix to attend the trial last month and get Maggie Bird the guilty verdict. And although I'm very close to losing over here, I mean, this should be clear-cut evidence. Here goes nothing. What on earth is that? Oh, an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation. Yep. It is a cardboard badge that I made way before coming to Japanifornia, and I used it for several occasions. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Dickman, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago, in this very court, you posed as me.
What? That's preposterous. That's most unorthodox.
The truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Hello? Now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing here, this very court, a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I have ever seen.
Objection!
Can you prove that, Gramps?
Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man.
Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him?
Why are you asking me that? I'm not the defense. Oh. I guess so. This is gonna be the first time we're gonna see the judge think about some stuff to defend himself.
Hey. Forget about it, yeah?
No?
I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else.
Objection!
Have you no pride, sir?
Objection!
This is a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Wright, here in court, we deal with people's lives. Says the person that is trying his damnedest to win against Phoenix. Even though, if you were to win, Gato, then you're letting a criminal get away. Mr. Gato is right. Your Honor? Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as a judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict.